Emily, great to have a chance to speak with you. And right off the top, congratulations on your EP. Congratulations on this new single we're going to be talking about. And just congratulations with your career because listening to your music, you got this really cool way of it's like you've taken the 80s sound of country with today's sort of soul and you've put it together. It's unique and it's very, very cool. Congrats on wherever the hell you got that from.
Thank you so much. That is probably one of the best compliments I've ever received. um, I got that from my dad's side. Everyone's musical or artsy on that side, so that's where the voice comes from for sure. And then I've got my mom's loud mouth.
I love that perfect combination. Look, I want to get into where all this formed and everything because Ajax is home, correct?
Yes, it is. It is home.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about that, but I want to ask though how things have been going with you, especially for the last 3 years with everybody dealing with COVID. I mean, I know with Ontario things are slowly opening up. Things are opening up around the world, but I mean, we still got that little bug, hanging out there. How have you been holding up, and how has the closures and reopenings and closures and reopening, how has it affected you in your career, and how's it affected you personally?
Yeah, you know what? I think it's safe to say that it's really affected everybody in so many ways. But I kind of just took a step back. I had some shows booked. I had like an EP release party booked, and I was getting so tired and like it's really disheartening with all of the cancellations that I just decided to step back and just focus on my writing, focus on my live show, and just rehearse for what is next to come so that when things
Preparation.
open up, I'm ready to go. So that's what I've really been focusing on. It's a lot on, your mental health and just sitting at home wondering when are things going to go back to normal. And I really just don't think that they will be completely normal for a while. So I'm just going to focus on my craft and my writing, and I'll be ready for shows.
While you were waiting, was music, songs, stuff growing in your head? And if so, would have these songs ever, come to you if it wasn't for COVID? Because we saw and thought about the world one way before COVID. We saw a lot of things on social media. We saw a lot of things in the news. And I know a lot of artists that I've spoke with, it really changed them and not just the way they saw things, but how they wrote their songs and lyrically and telling stories.
You know what? I can say that at least in Ontario here, because a lot of us will go to Nashville to write songs and connect with people out that way. And we all really came together as a family and just started writing music together more than ever. And some really incredible songs have come out of those co-writing sessions that I probably wouldn't have had the chance to do if the world was completely up and running, because I wouldn't have really had that much time to write all the songs that I had written during the pandemic. And I wrote a lot of songs that I'll release in the future too.
Okay, wait a minute. So you were in Nashville then?
No, I'm not. I'm not in
No,
Nashville.
not right now. No, I mean then. You were in Nashville.
During the pandemic, you mean?
Yeah.
No. I had
Oh,
plans to go down to Nashville, and usually, like, we write with people from Nashville,
right.
we're Canadian, but like we couldn't. We didn't want to go down there during a pandemic, and you couldn't, right? So we had to come together and right here and write together in Ontario.
Okay, now, couldn't you consider that a little bit of a bonus? Because Nashville was hit with some tornadoes and they were having a real rough time during the pandemic. It like Mother Nature was hitting them left and right. Could you imagine if you were there?
I know. And I remember looking at people's like Instagram stories and stuff, and I was like, this is so tragic. Like the world's already in shambles, and then like here's Nashville just getting hit like with tornadoes left, right, and center. And it's just really sad to see. It's sad. It takes a lot out of people.
No, it definitely does. But it's funny because when we're going to talk about you, well, let's jump right into your EP. What's the EP called again?
So it's called The Sobering Truth. So it it kind of went a little different than I anticipated because of the pandemic. So I was going to release an EP called The Sobering Truth with all of my original 7 songs on it. And then I was like, oh my gosh, the world's shut down. How do I like re-release music that's been pushed behind like a million times? Everyone's heard it already. So what I did was I ended up recording all of my tracks live off the floor and stripped in a little church in Hamilton, Ontario called Catherine North. And
Oh.
so I have an EP. So it's like called Stripped, the EP that I released, and it's all of the 7 tracks just stripped down. Like there's no edits. Like it's what you hear. If there's a mistake on it, like you're hearing it. And I just thought it was really cool to just like have like a raw sound, raw version to the songs that I've already created. And then what I did was I did a limited amount of vinyl copies, and 6 of them were just like the 7 original tracks, and the other 6 were the 7 original tracks with an extra LP of the stripped down versions.
What were the acoustics like there for you to do something like that?
I'm so sorry that my dog is barking right now.
That's okay. That's okay. Hey, you know what? This is what I love about Zoom because we get reality at its finest.
I know, it's awful, but there's nothing I can do.
No, that's fine. No. Bark away.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna ask you to repeat your question there.
What was the acoustics like when you were recording this and singing this? What was it like there?
It's amazing. Like I've worked in that studio a few times, and it's just like the high ceilings and like like the wood and the old creaky floors. Like you just like you hear everything, and the microphones like it just captures everything, and it just sounds like I wanted it to sound like I was singing to you. Like you were in that room listening to me. That was like the goal of what we were going for, and we really nailed it, I think.
Well, you must have because from what I've been reading about the serious country and the country charts, pop, 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 pop. Everybody's loving what you've done. Congrats with that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, got a lot of support from Sirius XM over the past few years.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's much deserved because, like I said, when we talk about Ontario and we talk about country, you can talk about Oshawa, you can talk about London, and we can talk about Ajax as being places that really a lot of Canadian country artists, especially Ontario, the roots are from there. How did your roots begin in country music in Ajax?
Yeah, so in elementary school, I was in grade 8, and I was trying out for a play for cats. And my grade 8 teacher was
Are you
like,
serious?
yep, yep. I remember singing Memory or Memories. I forgot what it was called. And I was dressed as like a cat, and I was like, this is so not me, but like, we're doing it. So my grade 8 teacher was like, oh, like you actually sound like the Dixie Chicks. And like at the time, I didn't listen to country music. Like I grew up on classic rock. That's what my dad played. He was always
Ajax.
So I went home and I looked, and then yeah, so like the Chicks have been an influence like on me forever now. Like I just love them so much. They're incredible. I've seen them in concert so many times, and that's how I got to singing country music. And then I was just always indulged in music, like my family being musical, me being in music lessons for over 10 years of my life. I was always singing.
Just curious, did you see the documentary on the Dixie Chicks Shut Up and Sing?
You know what? I actually haven't, but I should check that out.
Yes, you should because 40 minutes into it, you're going to see me.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm actually in it for maybe about 10 or 15 seconds because I actually asked them a question and they put me in it, which surprised the hell out of me. So, yeah, about 35, 40 minutes in it, you'll see me as a reporter asking the Dixie Chicks questions. And I'm always grateful that they've left me in that documentary, though. So, you've seen them perform, but you still have your own style. You mentioned about your parents, but how do you think that you formed that style again with the voice and everything else, because it does stand out even in country music, whether you're American or Canadian. It does stand out.
Thank you. I I grew so I not only grew up listening to the Dixie Chicks and classic rock, but I was a huge Christina Aguilera fan.
Ooh.
So I feel like that's where like my soul kind of comes in. And I sang Nora Jones at such a young age. Like I was singing her songs when I was like 6 or 7 years old, and like at like talent shows and stuff, and people would look at me like, "Why is this young girl singing like Don't Know Why by Nora Jones?" But I just love that like soulful, anything soulful, like I just gravitate towards it.
When did you know that this was what you wanted to do?
Very young age. I probably when I was like 6 or 7, which was like around the time I started vocal lessons. When I was like 2 or 3 years old, I used to sing myself to sleep over the rainbow by the Wizard of Oz. And my dad was always just like, she's gonna be a singer, like I know it, I know it. And it just kind of like stuck with me. And like even growing up, like I remember when I was so young, I used to just like sit on the couch and just like cry and like be like, I just want to be a singer. Like I want to do what that person's doing. I want it so bad. And I just kept pursuing it. And here I am now as an independent artist, just making my way in the country music industry.
Did you ever think about doing any of those shows? Like, I think Canadian Idol would have been done by the time you were there, but other, shows or competitions like that?
Yeah, I mean, it would be great if Canada had a little more opportunity for that. I think when like Canadian Idol and stuff was around, I was really young and my
Yeah.
parents didn't really want to put me in that. I do remember, I think it was Canada's Got Talent. I was like in my teens when that came here and I tried out for it. I didn't make it, but I did try out for it.
Well, again, let me throw something to you on that one. I was actually the in-house MC for that show. So I was the guy in the commercials who was giving out stuff. Oh, we got a lot of connections on this. But it's great that they've brought it back, and it seems like it's doing really well. So hopefully there'll be more opportunities like that. But you've always went out there and grabbed your opportunities. What other things have you done to, put yourself on the map and put yourself out there?
Yeah, I mean, I would say like the last 5 years, I really indulged myself into the country music scene in Ontario and just really putting my best foot forward, trying to make the connections that I can make in the industry, and really supporting other artists. I think as well is really helpful, and just yeah, really just biting the bullet and messaging people I can, making the connections that I can, just establish relationships to help push my career forward.
Now, you talked about, of course, working with people, wanting to go to Nashville. It's all about writing songs. What kind of stories do you like to tell through your music?
Yeah, so it's pretty obvious that I like to write sad songs. I promise I'm a really happy person. I'm engaged. I'm not heartbroken
Ah!
anymore. But there's just something about a good sad song. There's just so much like substance to it. And then I really like singing with like all the emotion I could possibly give and the feeling. And I love to give people the feels. And I personally, as an artist, just can really bring that out in a sad song. So I just love writing sad songs.
Okay, before we even start talking about the new single, there's no way you can just pass right by and just say, I'm engaged and just keep going. First, can we get a closer look at the ring?
Sure.
Oh, wow. So, who gave you the ring if you want to throw out a first name?
Yeah, his name is Anthony.
Anthony. Okay. How did Anthony propose?
He proposed, so I actually moved to Napanee, Ontario.
Okay.
Um, and that was last summer, and we have some trails behind our house. We like to ride dirt bikes and ATVs, and we were riding our bikes, and I was like, well, let's get a nice sunset photo. And he had the phone propped up on the tree because girls and their photos,
Mm.
and and it was actually on record. And yeah, he proposed to me, and that's somewhere on my Instagram and TikTok. There's a video of it, and I was very caught off guard.
Wow. Good on him. It sounds like he's been carrying this ring for a while, just trying to find the right moment.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he had it for a little while. Yeah.
Well, congratulations on the personal life. I absolutely love this. Now, the EP that we were just talking about, was that your first EP?
Yes, yes, it was.
So, how difficult was it for you to finally get this out? Because when you're doing things on your own, especially in Canada, it's not easy.
Yeah, with like I said, with the pandemic, there was so many setbacks. So I think that was really the main reason for it to be difficult getting it out and then trying to like reinvent everything so it's like still interesting to
Hmm.
the listeners. Um, and then just yeah, being an independent artist, it's so hard in Canada, and you just like nobody really releases like, oh, here's an album, here's an EP of like all my songs. Like everyone's just doing singles now because you want to build yourself up so people know who you are. And I feel like I really had to wait for that moment where I felt it was right that I could release something that people are actually going to go and listen to.
Well, you've definitely done that just a little while ago because we got a new single out. And I cannot wait till you tell the story behind it because hearing the lyrics, well, let's just say a toast to you on that one. What is the new single called and what is it about?
Yeah, so the new single is called Kiss Strangers. And, you know, when I was thinking of the title, I kind of just thought back to like my college days and high school days. And it's supposed to be like a fun, quirky, sassy song about moving on and getting strong. It's like every girl's breakup anthem, but like secretly, like you're like pissed off that like this person broke up with you, but like you're still gonna go out and have a good time. So, yeah, I wrote that with Dave Borey and Bobby Smith. She's from a band called The Heels. They're both from out west.
I know
And
the Heels very well.
yeah, and I just brought that title to them. It was kind of just laying around, and they really helped form and shape this song and into what it is. And like we were saying, I release a lot of ballads, and I was like, okay, it's time to release something that's upbeat. And if it's not sad, then it's gonna be sassy.
What is it like to work with the Heels? Because I've interviewed them, I've done red carpets with them. They are amazing and insane at the same time. What is it like working with them?
Yeah, so I've only ever actually worked with Bobby, and I've written with her, I think, 3 times now. And
Mm,
I tell you, every time we write a song, and with Dave and Bobby, like we always write great songs together. You just like know when you write with somebody.
yeah, yeah.
And she's just like she's great. She's a super talented singer and writer, and she just gets it as an artist. She's awesome. She's great to work with. I love writing with them, both of them.
Well, let's hope at some point in time, who knows, maybe there's a collaboration on stage with you guys, which would be great. But when we talk about stage, though, we are talking in 2022. Things are opening up. What is the path right now for us getting you on stage and touring and performing? What's happening there?
Yeah, so I booked a few shows this summer because the unknown.
Mm.
So I've got a show coming up this weekend in Keswick, Ontario, with a few other artists at a small theater, which I'm looking forward to. And then I've got 3 other festivals for the summer. Um, there's Crooks Rapids in September. That's in Hastings, Ontario. There is the County Jamboree, which is where I'm living now, in Prince Edward County. That happens in Sterling, though, Sterling, Ontario. And then in July, we have a country festival in Prince Edward County again called Music from the Vineyard. And
Oh, I know that. Actually, I got an email about that just a little while ago. Was it 2 weeks ago? And I'm actually going to do an interview with the organizers on that. That's so cool.
so funny enough is I'm actually one of the organizers.
Oh my goodness. Why do I have this feeling I'm going to end up interviewing you all over again?
But the main person and the mastermind behind this is his name's Matt Morrison, and he's a really great friend of mine, and he's working super hard to put this together. And it's really a festival to showcase the emerging talent that we have here in Ontario, because there's not enough like festivals and shows supporting the emerging artist.
Hmm.
So we really wanted to base it off of that. And then of course there's the two headliners, Madeline Merlot and Andrew Hyatt, which is really awesome. And we're just super stoked to see how it all pans out.
Look at that. You got award winners, you got big time nominees. So much is going on. This is amazing. Look, we're going to wrap this up. I want to say congratulations on everything that you're doing. Congrats on this new single, the EP, the upcoming shows, everything. And let's make sure that we stick around, like we keep in contact, because I love to know more what's happening with you, because I know there's more great music coming our way from you. Congratulations and thanks again.
Thank you so much, Rudy. Have a great day.